If you're like most people, myself included, it's likely you engage in phubbing quite a bit, and probably don't realize you're doing it. You might even be doing it right now. Phubbing is a portmanteau of phone and snubbing, a combination that describes the act of being distracted by your smartphone when really you ought to be concentrating on the person with whom you're supposed to be interacting. Phubbing is a phenomenon. Photo Glenn Hunt. Sometimes that person is your partner. Let's say you're in the middle of a romantic dinner. If you interrupt the conversation to read a text message or take a call, you're being a phubber. If you pause to check out an app or read the news, likewise you're being a phubber. Which is why research released last year found relationships where that happens a lot diminish in quality over time. The same researchers have just published the findings of their latest study, which takes this act of neglect away from romantic partners and into the workplace. They introduce a variation of the term which they've named boss phubbing. Across 3 studies and hundreds of participants, they found boss phubbing undermines the trust an employee has in his or her supervisor, which in turn has a negative impact on employee engagement. That's because when employees see their boss focus shift away from them and towards their phone, that diversion is viewed by employees as overtly devaluing their work, which consequently weakens their self-confidence. In effect, their boss' short attention span makes them feel as though they're less capable of performing well, thereby diminishing their motivation and engagement, and it's all due to something for which they're not personally culpable. The scholars explain that although the ubiquity of smartphone use may present a challenge to managers in tackling the issue of workplace phubbing, it is a harmful behavior and it undermines any corporate culture based on respect for others. They therefore suggest it's important to refrain from viewing emails and messages as urgent requests demanding an immediate response. Sacrificing quality face-to-face time with employees isn't worth the ensuing damage it causes to the relationship. One solution could be to enforce strict policies, such as having smartphone-free areas, or even simply mandating that all smartphones be placed into a basket when entering a meeting, to be retrieved only once the meeting is over. So how can you tell if you're a phubber? Well, if you answer in the affirmative to some of the following 9 statements, which the researchers have identified as being most reflective of phubbing, you can safely assume you're guilty. During meetings, you pull out and check your phone. You use your phone in meetings. You place your phone in a position where employees can see it when you're together. Your phone is in your hand when you're talking to others. You use your phone while talking to others. If your phone rings or beeps, you pull it out even if you're in the middle of a conversation. You glance at your phone while engaged in conversation. Your employees compete with your phone for your attention. You're constantly on the phone even when you're in the company of other people. So how did you go? As the researchers conclude, committing just one of those acts, even something as simple as looking at your phone for a second without actually using it, can ultimately undermine an employee's success. And obviously yours. James Adonis is the author of The Motivation Hoax: A Smart Person's Guide to Inspirational Nonsense.